Hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just an update on what I'm doing to prepare for season two. The gold making strategies are a bit slim at the moment. There's not much in terms of variety that's still making profit. These dirt pile farms are still quite profitable, but they have another benefit that I'm going to talk about today. So, with the new season, you'll be able to get the gilded crests from delves, which are really good because it's going to upgrade all of my Omen crafted gear, but also all of the gear that can have upgrades with Valor points. Now, the thing with that is you need the Valor stones to be able to make the most of that as fast as you possibly can. And the cap is 2000. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm going around and I'm collecting these dirt piles. I'm doing this in war mode because you just get extra things. And I pretty much don't get picked on why I do this, so I might as well make the extra gold this way. But every time I pick up a dirt pile, I get 5 Valor stones. And the Valor stones are really going to help me out when it comes to upgrading this gear. So it's a way that's still making gold at the moment, but it is going to, when season two comes out, when I run those delves and get those gilded crests, I'll be able to upgrade my gear sooner, which will make farming easier pretty much in every other aspect. So it's got a lot of bonuses. And when you hand in the little globs of wax as well, you get Valor for that as well. So there's a lot of ways to build Valor this way. I get Valor capped often, like frequently. It's ridiculous. This method. I've got a couple of sparks, the fractured sparks. I've combined them to make a omen. I don't know what's going to happen with those come season two because they do say season one on them, but I'm Valor capped anyway. Well, I was. So I might as well see what happens. I mean, they might exchange it for gold or they might allow me to continue to use it. Perhaps there'll be a way to upgrade it. I don't know, but I was Valor capped anyway. Might as well see what happens there. So this is still one of the few ways to make gold. Like I said, I'm doing this in war mode, which lets me pick up the chests. Every now and again, they've got good things in them. I've been told the stone you can get will potentially be quite profitable at the beginning of season two. And when you get enough honor points, you can swap that in. You can exchange it for honor points, but you can also, oh, that's my children pulling pots and pans out of the cupboard. You can also exchange them. You can also collect them from the actual chests themselves. And I've picked up two that way so far. And I've picked up a bunch of the recipes. They're not selling as fast as they used to, but I expect there will be a big return for players in season two as everybody comes back to do the new raids, the new delves, returning players who are going to want to gear up as fast as possible, as easily as possible. And there's going to be a real short window there for that where the profit margins, I think, will be quite lucrative. But and it will go back down. So it is something you've got to be ready for. Don't try to get on that wave once it's started. Be ready for the wave before it's here, is how I'm doing this. And I'm going to show you what's in my bank at the end of this, what I'm storing. So that's my thoughts here. Just getting as much valor as I can, turning those fractured sparks into omens, just to see, because sometimes there's a gold exchange for those. It's never insane, but I was valor capped anyway. Might as well. For anyone who missed my other video, when you are handing in these little globs of wax, make sure you're swapping it for the box of rocks. It's the highest gold reward out of all of the things you can get there. Out of my great vault this week, I got the fate offhand, and it turned into a mace as well. So I got the offhand and the mace, and I was just showing you there what they were, just in case anyone is like me and didn't know what it was. So there you go. I was a little bit excited to accidentally get two pieces out of my Great Vault. I don't think it's the best item for a Shadow Priest, but my offhand was tragic, and it's a massive upgrade. So I swapped it anyway. So this is just me showing you where you can find your Valor stones. You just press the U button, unless you've changed the hotkey, and it comes up with your currencies. This is the person you can change it with, the vendor, in case you don't know about the ways to upgrade your gear. So yeah, you just go to this guy, you drop your stuff in, and you can upgrade it. So if you're finding you're having trouble, you've got lots of those weathered crests. You get them when you fly through the little glowing orbs just in the air, but also when you complete like world things like quests and things like that. You get lots of them and you can exchange those for ruined crests. I'm hopeful that in season 2 there will become an option to buy the gilded crests with an increased amount of those. So I just fly through them when I'm going past them. You also get the resonance crystals as well, and they can be swapped for a pet that sells pretty well on the auction house. There are a couple of pets. So that's just an option there too. Don't just fly past those. I know they're annoying. You don't tend to think about them, but there is a way to make gold with those over the long term. So you just drag your item in here and you can upgrade it with the Valor points. You can see here I've gone as far as I can on everything without the gilded crests, including my Omen crafted stuff. So I'm collecting the Valor to be able to hopefully be able to make as bigger boost with that as fast as possible when season 2 allows me to. Once I start getting those gilded crests for those upgrades, I'm also hoping for upgraded gear. I'm hoping that there's a bit of a gear change with delves, but I am looking at doing mythics now. My guild keeps encouraging me to do that. But if you've been watching my delver videos, you know I'm very good at standing in the stuff. So we'll see how we go with that. So you can see I've got lots of the season 1 Spark of Omens just because I've been Valor capped that many times. I know it wasn't this time, but I was just showing you in case anybody didn't know how to do that. And I'm confident I'll be Valor capped again just because the dirt piles give so much Valor. You can probably get to Valor capped with 2 or 3 hours dedicated effort on those little dirt piles. So that's just an option there for anybody looking to be as prepared as possible. I know this is an indirect method of making gold, but the more geared you are, the faster all gold farms are. So it doesn't hurt, but there are other ways to make gold while you're doing this. The dirt piles make me a lot of gold. I make somewhere between 10,000 and 15,000 gold an hour raw gold. Just you collect the piles, you sell them on the auction house, you don't do anything with it. And it does pretty well. I have started to hoard some things, and I'll put them in my bank and I'll show you at the end. I'm just showing you here the Pioneer gear and the PvP gear are still selling really well. Not insanely fast, but I'm making a lot of gold. You can see I made 30,000 gold with this, with almost 30,000 gold with this open here. And that's just from enchants and the Pioneer gear and the PvP gear. So they're all doing really well right now as everybody's kind of in the same sort of mindset, trying to get as geared as possible for the new release. People are thinking the better their gear is when those new raids drop, the quicker they'll gear up, which is what the mindset is for most people here. So I'm taking advantage of that. And also of all of the people rolling alts, I'm taking advantage of that too with the Pioneer gear. So that's still making me a lot of gold. So if you've watched my previous videos, I have talked about this before, but it's still working. So definitely go and check it out if you're a crafter. What can you make that's level 71 and list on the auction house? And also all of that accessory gear for professions. That's doing really well still. Look at my bug. I'm so excited about that bug. All right, so we're going to go look at my region bank, and there is a lot in here. It doesn't look like a lot, but we're probably looking at 500,000 gold worth of items. Is kind of a little bit ridiculous, actually. So I've been stocking up on things whenever they're cheap, but towards the end of this expansion lately, basically I'm spending what I make on the auction house as fast as I'm making it. So I'm stockpiling on my enchanting materials. I think it's going to be the most lucrative going forward. Just because with the gilded crests, everyone's going to be upgrading their gear, and I think that's going to come with people wanting enchants. So I think I think enchanting, at least for a little bit, will be the most profitable as everybody kind of tries to get all of those enchants on their new upgraded gear. I think the price of the Storm Dust is really going to go up as well, because there's not only the gilded crests that people will suddenly have access to, but the new tiers of crests as well. And they all require Storm Dust to get made to begin with. So I think having a stockpile of that, even if I don't end up selling them back on the auction house, even if all I'm doing is maximizing the profits I make on the enchants I make, I think it'll be really good there. I'm also stockpiling up on things I need for my tailoring. Those accessories and things like that use a lot of exquisite weaver cloth bolts, and I think that people will want some of those as people come back to the game. So I'm stockpiling on those things there. The Bottled Storm and the Cinder Bee Satay is my gamble. They're relatively useless in this season anyway, and my hope is that the Bottled Storm might be added to the the shatter that enchanters can do for a buff, or they will be included in recipes that haven't been mentioned yet. I'm also holding on to the hides, the Gloomfathom hides, and you can see the Stormcharged leather. So I've been keeping those things too because of the new recipe that will allow leather workers to create the pants enchant. Well, it's not an enchant, the pants buff that will change with your spec. So if you've got a character that's a tank and a DPS, or a DPS and a healer, changing spec will change the buff you get from those pants. So I think that'll be, everybody will want that when it comes out. I want that when it comes out. So I'm storing those things. I think that initially they'll make a lot of gold. I've also started to hold on to the tinder boxes and the other items that you can swap for tinder boxes. You can see them there. When I pick them up from the dirt piles, I'm holding on to them. I think the prices now are as low as they're going to get. I think they're pretty deflated. And I think at least in the first 72 hours, they'll be insane on the auction house. I think that they're really going to spike up. The thing with that is there are lots of other people probably hoarding these things, and that might affect either the duration of the spike or how high the spike goes. But I do think that more profit can be made by holding on to those things until season 2 is released and then listing them. But I've got a fallback plan for these things, everything except the Gloom Fathom hide, which I'm pretty confident about with those pants enchants. I can use to make other enchants, which do make a substantial profit. So that's what I've been doing there. I've also been buying recipes I don't have, enchanting recipes that are selling for a large amount on the auction house. The actual enchant part, the recipe is insanely expensive as well. But so I've picked up a couple of those in hopes that they increase in popularity with the next expansion as well, with the next season as well. I'm keeping anywhere between 50,000 gold and 100,000 gold worth of items on the auction house at any given time. And when I log on, I run that undercut scan just to make sure I am at the front of the line for the PvP gear, for the alt gear, and for the accessory gear. Dominating the market on that front, at least I am on my server when I'm logged on, makes the most profit. And you really want to be looking at that where you can. The enchants are a lot more competitive. To stay in front of the line, you really have to sit there and cancel and reload and cancel and reload. And there is a lot of gold to be made with that kind of patience. But I am finding with the tailoring items, the accessory items, and the PvP gear and that, you can just check every couple of hours and put yourself at the front of the line again. And that's making a nice profit. Not as much as sitting there and putting a dedicated effort with the enchants is, but it's a nice passive profit. So that's all for this video. If you have any comments about anything I've said or any ideas for something I've missed, let me know in the comment box. And as always, like and subscribe if you found this helpful. It's free for you, it's super helpful for me, and it lets the algorithm know who else to show this video to. I think we'll end the video here, and as always, remember, girls don't play WoW.